in our culture today, we have this massive cloud of confusion that hovers over us as a race, as a society, as a populace. And the confusion is those who believe information is wisdom. And as it turns out, it's not. But yet, this is what seems to be the major magnet or attraction for so many people is they're so attracted, almost like in a spellbound type sense, towards more information. And as a result, we have now a consequential effect of this. And the consequential effect is we have a lot of people on the planet that are now experiencing things like information overload. They're overwhelmed. They don't even know what to do next in their lives. In fact, a lot of these people are stuck. They're stuck on something or someone in their day-to-day world, which really means they're not moving their lives forward in a way that they were destined to be moving their lives forward with. So, but yet they have a lot of information and they have access to a lot of this information, either, obviously with the internet, as we all now know, now with AI, it's just quite amazing. I mean, now I've been hearing stories of how AI now is coaching people, guiding people, counseling people. But what is AI? AI is just loaded with information. And it's got this unique feature to it where it's able to synthesize that information and make it look like to the individual, oh my gosh, this is total wisdom. But come the end of the day, it's not. That's technology. Technology in itself doesn't carry wisdom. Technology can become smarter. Oh, but there you go. There's also a big difference between somebody who becomes very smart versus somebody who becomes incredibly wise. So why is this so important? Because when it comes to life and you and I making decisions that are most appropriate for us to be making in our day-to-day world, and every day we're making decisions. Now, mostly every day, they're minor decisions, and every now and again, we make a big one. We make a major one. We make a significant one. And when we make that more major decision, that decision must be followed with something. This is all governed by universal law. So in this case, there's a law in the universe that basically says that in our lives, with everything that we experience, is nothing more than an effect, a consequential effect. Now, the consequential effect can be negative and it can also be positive. It can be a curse and it can also be a blessing. And so, but again, going back to the majority of people in this confused state of thinking that information is wisdom or information means they're smarter. And yet, when it comes to making a decision, the smarts and the information kind of go out the window. What helps us to make a better decision is the amount of wisdom that we carry. Or if we happen to be connected with somebody that's in our corner, supportive corner that is, where they're truly supporting us and they get us and they understand us. And that person carries more wisdom than you do, whoever that individual is. The purpose of wisdom, the greater purpose of wisdom, coming back to choice making, decision making, you'll see it. There are, say, for example, in companies. I've done a lot of work in companies throughout the decades of teaching and coaching and mentoring people or role modeling for people. And in companies, what happens there is the best decision makers inevitably end up making the most amount of money all the time. Well, you might say, well, they were born with that luck to make it. No, they weren't. At least not in my world. And from the many experiences that I've had now around this, what makes a decision maker a real great decision maker is whoever he or she is, they've earned that. And they've earned it because in their life, or perhaps they were born this way, because some of us at soul level are born with some level of, well, actually, all of us, let me rephrase, all of us are born with some level of wisdom at soul level. Doesn't mean to say we're going to access that level of wisdom throughout our life, because that too becomes a choice based on how aware you are of yourself. But then as life goes on, are you becoming wiser? Or are you just simply becoming smarter? Are you becoming more informational loaded? Are you becoming more intellectual? So there's another connection there. The person who has a lot of access to information usually has a certain level of intellectualism to them, where a boy on a mental level, oh, can they move quickly? So it appears like they're so smart, and right away in our society, we think smart people, that means they're wise. No, I've worked now with thousands upon thousands of people, and I've come across some what I consider to be really smart people. I have a couple of smart people around me right now. And yet, when it comes to making decisions, the smart stuff kind of goes out the window. What causes a good decision to actually be made, or a good decision to actually be made, it's all going to come down to how much wisdom are you currently carrying within your physical vessel. Because the purpose of wisdom, believe it or not, or one of the big purposes, is to make better, wiser, healthier choices. Everybody already knows that once you make a big choice, let's say, I don't know, you're choosing to get married to somebody, or you're choosing to move in with somebody, or you're choosing to start a business, or you're choosing to make a big financial investment, or you're choosing to go in a completely different direction. You're choosing to bring in a new friend. You're choosing to partner up in business, as in you're now going to become business partners. I'm sure you've all had the experience where the choice that you made to be with whoever that was, or to do whatever that thing was, as in that financial investment, some of those experiences didn't turn out all that well. In fact, not only did they not turn out that way or all that well, there's a possibility that they got you stuck. And that decision that was made way back when has now created a maze of complexity in your own day-to-day world. As in, how am I ever going to get out of this? How did this even happen? How did I land here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years later, after having made a decision that's significant in that regard? So we can see that the choice, or the quality of choice, the decision, or the depth or quality of the decision, plays a real significant role in terms of what happens next in our own day-to-day worlds, whether we're looking at our lives personally, professionally, spiritually, financially, relationally wise. It doesn't matter. This is a very unique element of part of who we really are to be. This element that we're to become more aware, we're to become more conscious of our decision making in our day-to-day world, of our choice making in our day-to-day world. I'll give another example here in our day-to-day world. Let's say your child, you're a parent, and you have a child or maybe a grandchild, and they do something that you don't approve of. Whatever that is, children can be children. Obviously, we all know this, but they do something that really upsets you. You don't approve of it. Well, what do you choose to do next? And whatever your answer is, that's going to determine what happens next. Nobody gets off the hook if I make a weaker, poorer, more negative-oriented choice, such as with my kid, and I choose to go off into a big reaction, and I even become aggressive, maybe, who knows, maybe even with my physical body, but I simply become aggressive with my voice. And my kid feels all of this anger behind that aggression that I'm displaying just with my voice. What happens to my kid? In a blink of an eye. You get it. Because as a kid, they're not going to stand up to you. Not when they're 6 years old or 9 years old. That's not what's going to happen here. And yet, parents do it every single day. They make this choice to react or even overreact, become aggressive or become overly aggressive, or to seriously criticize or hold their kids in judgment because whatever the kid just did is the parent that is now holds that kid in what is known as disapproval energies. And then somehow, with the confidence that goes with ignorance, the parent thinks that everything's okay because they told their kid. They gave their kid a piece of their mind. No, they chose to give their kid a piece of their mind. And in that choice, it automatically now produces something. It does this for all of us. That's governed by universal law. But what they don't know, the parent, is the long-term consequence that what they just did is going to eventually at some point reflect back right smack in their face, more than likely through their kid. Maybe not right away, it might take a few years, but at some point it's going to reflect back. Because the moment I make that choice, whether I'm conscious of it or not, it doesn't matter. I've made a choice to show up this way with my kid or my business partner or my romantic partner, or quite frankly, the person who cut me off in the traffic. I choose to react. I choose to get aggressive. I choose to show a certain finger all of a sudden. I choose to swear. And I've got my kids in the back seat, all buckled up. And there they see mommy or daddy just swearing the foul language that's coming out of their mouth. They have no idea what's going on with their kids that are sitting in the back seat. They have no idea how the kids are experiencing this. Another consequential effect, but they don't see it. So my question to you here in light of this would be, in current time, in real time, as in now time, how much wisdom do you suppose you have access to from within inside of yourself right now? How much wisdom? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you have a lot of wisdom, 1 being you don't have much wisdom to access, that is. And how would you know that? You're looking for the quality of choices that you make in your own day-to-day world. You're looking at the quality of decisions that you typically have made to this point in time. That reveals the true answer. So what number would you give yourself? Would it be a 10? Wow, I have a lot of wisdom that I access day to day. And it shows itself in the quality of choices. It shows itself in the quality of decisions that I've made just over the last 6 months of my life. Or you might say it's a 5. Why would you say it's a 5? Well, maybe, obviously, some of the decisions you can see they were more quality oriented. In other words, they were the healthier decision, the wiser choice. And then you've got another part. Oh, no, that wasn't very healthy. That wasn't very wise. Well, what was it then? And that's when you begin to challenge this, because you want to challenge it. Ultimately, your soul, one of the things that really would like to see us do more of is to become wiser. Not overnight, because nobody becomes wiser overnight. Wisdom is something everybody gets to earn, and everybody gets to earn it because nobody can give it to you. You can't even give wisdom to your kids, believe it or not. Everybody gets to earn this. Now, if you know how to earn it, good for you. Consider yourself to be one of the lucky ones on planet Earth right now, because the majority do not know how to earn this. The majority don't even know how to access this, because they're all caught up in this, whatever this is, of, hey, look at all the information I now have. I can go on the internet anytime and I can get all the information I want, and they do. But does that help move their life forward? That's another question we probably ought to be posing, not just to ourselves, but to our communities and to our nation and to our world at large. Does that really help in the long haul? And I'm not saying we shouldn't access information. What I'm suggesting right now, the information, the way we've been accessing it as a race, it's it's over the top. It's out of whack. It's out of balance. And more specifically, it's seriously out of balance with that of wisdom, because there's a very big difference between information and actual earned, embodied wisdom.